Hey Boujee True Crimers, and welcome back to another episode of Evil Strikes. I am your host Boujee Hustla, and this is a Boujee Hustla production. If you're new to the channel, Evil Strikes is a new series I started where I come on camera and talk about a true crime case while doing my makeup. But with the frequent updates of the Shanquella Robinson case, I have not been able to do the makeup portion, so it has just been true crime. But the next couple videos will include me on camera, some of them makeup, some of them no makeup. Excuse me. And also excuse me if you hear me like sniffling or clearing my throat. I have come down with a cold in the last couple days here, which is why I've been kind of quiet, but I'm just trying to get this video done so that I can get back to editing the other ones that are already pre-recorded. So anyway, like I was saying, I do have some videos that are already pre-recorded that I've been had since before covering Shanquella's case that I need to finish editing, and those will be up in the next couple days, and that's like my normal type of content. So if you like true crime and makeup, then join the rest of us, become a Boujee True Crimer, and subscribe to the channel. Get comfortable because, like I said, I have more cases on the way. So let's get into today's video. Public enemy number one, MetropoliMX, aka Gerardo Zuninga. So a few days ago on Tuesday, MetropoliMX, aka Mr. Zuninga, posted that Daejhanae was arrested, and we all celebrated. It was all peaches and cream until 24 hours later, it wasn't. So today's video, I'm gonna get into how I learned about who Gerardo Zuninga was or is, and why I felt comfortable posting my video about the arrest, and what we should expect moving forward in regards to covering this case. And also, let me know down in the the comment section, how did you guys first hear about Gerardo Zuninga? Like, where was the first time you had heard his name being brought up? Was it here on my channel? Was it on someone else's? I'm just curious to see how everybody came across him. Okay, so let's take it back to the beginning, right? So most of us were made aware of Shanquella's case mid-November. I found about it on Instagram via the Shade Room, and I was reading the story like, wow, 6 people unalived their friend during a vacation. What the hell happened on that trip that caused them to do something like that to this girl? So I was like, wow, that's nuts, right? So then I started hearing about her name more and more on Instagram, and then eventually I think I saw more on YouTube. Then I thought about it, and I was like, you know, I do plan on launching this, well, not plan to, I just started the Evil Strikes series at the end of October, which also happened to be the time that unfortunately Shanquella passed away. And so I was like, this would fall into the lines of true crime, definitely, but not necessarily the type of cases I would cover. And of course, it's not because she's black, because hello, I'm black too, but it's more so because it's trending, it's new, there's no concrete details, everything is just ongoing, and you just don't know what's real and what's not, basically, as opposed to older cases like the ones that are already solved, or cold cases, or ongoing cases but they've been open a little longer, like a couple months to a year and longer, right? Those stories tend to be a bit more concrete as far as the details that you find. It tends to stick to the storyline, as opposed to a case like this where we still need to wait on investigators and police to weed out what's fact and what isn't. So until then, everybody's just speculating, creating their own narrative that fits what they believe to be the truth. And unfortunately, with that many narratives running around, everyone's confused. Excuse me, you guys, I'm so sorry. Just bear with me. So in any event, that was kind of like my main concern regarding covering this story. But like I said, I wanted to do my part to, excuse me, help bring awareness to Shanquella's name. So I said, okay, I'm going to do my due diligence and just try to make a nice little documentary style video like I had started to do for the Evil Strikes series. And so I made my video and I said, okay, boom, I'm gonna put it up, and you know, I'll probably get maybe like a couple hundred views, and I'll be okay with that, you know, because I haven't been on YouTube in like 2 years, so I wasn't expecting anything crazy to say the least. So I uploaded it and boom, couple hundred views, you know. All right, expectation met, you know. Hopefully some of those people who saw the video didn't know about the case, and now there's more awareness to it, and hopefully they share it, and you know, didn't think anything else of it. Went back to editing my next couple videos. The next day it starts getting momentum, and you know, it's going off, and I'm like, oh, a couple thousand now, what? Okay, cool, great. You know, I'm really feeling good because I feel like I'm a part of a movement and my efforts are actually making a difference. So I'm really, you know, happy about that. Excuse me. So then I get back to working on my next case, and the whole time I'm working on my case, I keep thinking about Shanquella's case and how I really want to know how that happened. Why did they do these things to this girl? Like, what led to this attack? Blah blah blah, you know, just all these different scenarios running through my head. And I found myself looking up the details of her case instead of sticking to the case that I was trying to cover. So eventually I was just like, well, since I'm already looking, I might as well make a video, maybe another video or two, because I'm sure if I'm curious, other people are curious as well. So I decided to, you know, kind of tread lightly, and now it's basically a Shanquella saga on my channel. But I don't regret it by any means. You know, I'm glad it's bringing awareness to people who have not heard about this case. Some of you guys heard it first for me, and I'm thankful for that. You know, like, I'm glad that what I'm doing is somewhat making a difference. You know, it's bringing awareness to the cause. So then I want to say around the time that it was announced that Daejhanae's arrest warrant was issued, I was like, bet. So I made my video, uploaded it, and then I was like, okay, I want to check out some other content creators and see what, you know, what they're talking about in regards to the case. You know, I like to hear different theories, people's perspectives on the case. So when I started searching for her on YouTube, Shanquella, I came across Chronicle Speaks. I don't religiously watch her videos. I may, you know, come across a video or something related to some trending gossip. I think her content is gossip. I'm not really sure. Y'all can let me know in the comments, because she's a way bigger channel, way big, and I recognized her voice immediately when I clicked on it. I was like, oh, I've heard her videos before. And so she was talking about, you know, breaking news, arrest warrant issued for Daejhanae Jackson, courtesy of my connect, Gerardo Zuniga. And I'm like, oh, she done got her a whole connect out here? That's awesome. That's what's up. So that was the first time I heard about Mr. Zuniga. Sorry, I'm going to take a sip of my tea. Okay. So then after that, I continued watching other videos. You know, some videos had older information. Other people were also making the same announcements, but then including other details or perspectives about the case. And as I'm watching these videos, I'm hearing this name, Gerardo Zuniga, Mr. Zuniga, Zuninga, Mexico, MetropoliMX, da 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 da. And I'm like, dang, who is this guy? Like, wow, he's really doing great work out here. You know, he's keeping in communication with content creators, bloggers, and making sure that we keep her name alive. Like, I'm loving this. Like, okay, excellent. So then I don't know if it was the next day, the same day, or what, but next thing I know, I see a video on a channel called The Lead Attorney. Now, before this case, I've never heard of The Lead Attorney before. So I saw the interview and I'm like, oh, okay, so he's an attorney, da 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 da. And I kind of like looked at his other videos just to kind of try to get a good consensus of who he was. But then I watched the interview with Gerardo and I was just like, man, this is awesome. You know, everybody is doing great work, etc., etc. And you know, everyone's giving this guy praise about researching this case and keeping it alive. So in any event, they're talking about how he's been, leaking information to us, because he's an investigative reporter. And so his job is to, investigate, find out details that the public doesn't know. Like, sometimes I think people forget that's what his job is. Like, his job is not to get supporting details. It's to get the unofficial, off record things that we are not able to know about just yet because they're still working on it. But the public wants to know, like, now, right? We live in an era where everything and everybody wants everything right now. So having said that, it was cool to see that he was actually able to get information through his connects, his resources, which he states are reliable. So I'm just like, okay, well, he seems pretty credible. He's been keeping us in the loop this far, and he seems to be doing good work. And other people, like Mexican people, I'm seeing in comments on different videos, including some of mine, stating that he's actually reputable back in Mexico, and he actually does really good work, etc., etc. So he, he's getting his kudos. All right. So then I was like, you know what, let me go ahead and reach out to him as well, because I saw he had a Facebook link through the lead attorney's video. So I reached out to him on Facebook. Well, I found him on Facebook, but I was like, let me try reaching out to him on Twitter, because I was like, clearly he's talking to a lot of content creators and bloggers, so maybe he has like a list of contacts, like people he reaches out to. So I was like, well, let me see if I can get on this list that he has, maybe. So I reach out to him on Twitter, and he responds right away, and we chit chat for just a few moments, and then he asked for my contact info for WhatsApp. So I give it to him. I immediately dreaded that, because of the simple fact I knew I was gonna have to turn my notifications on, and my mom be sending me those chain messages all the time, and it'd be sending me through the roof. That's why I turned my notifications off on WhatsApp. If you have a parent who does that, let me know in the comment section. So anyway, I was like, okay, bet. So this was Monday night now, right? So on Monday night, I said, okay, well, mainly we want to know if you can find out whose name is actually on that arrest warrant. Like, that was the big question I think a lot of us were curious about at the time. There was something else I asked him, I can't remember right now, and my phone is not by me, but I was just like, yeah, that was like one of the things I know for sure I wanted to know. So he said, okay, he's like, well, I'll see whatever information. I can't promise it's that. He's like, but when I go to the prosecutor office tomorrow, which would have been Tuesday, he said, I'll see what information, if any, I'm able to get. And I said, okay. So that was that. Went back to working on my next video. And then Tuesday come around, I'm still working on that same video, just working on, content. And it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time, and I still haven't heard anything from Mr. Zuniga. So I decided to reach out to him. So I was like, hey, did you get a chance to go to the prosecutor's office yet? And he's like, no, I'm actually getting ready to head over there now. I said, okay, cool. So then I continue working on my content, editing and stuff. A couple hours go by. It's like 5 o'clock literally. And I hear notifications going off on my phone. I see a Twitter notification, and then I also heard like my WhatsApp go off, and I'm like, what is going on here? So I click on the Twitter one, and all I see is MetropoliMX, and then it says Daejhanae arrested. What? Because at that time I was working on the video talking about what's next for Cabo 6, just to kind of get an idea of like, while we wait to see if they apprehend Daejhanae, who we suspect is on the arrest warrant, what would she be looking at facing, the future of Cabo 6. Just wanted to keep the name alive on YouTube until we get more information about the case from officials. So working on that video, and then this breaking news, and I'm like, wow. So I click on it, I read it, and I'm just like, yo, I wonder who else knows. So I go to YouTube, boy, it's like 3-4 videos already uploaded. And then I see the lead attorney, he's live streaming, and he has nearly 2,000 people viewing. and his thumbnail says arrested in big bold letters, and then a picture of what's her name, Daejhanae Jackson on the cover. And I'm just like, wow, this, I feel like this hasn't even been out for 15 minutes and it's already videos being uploaded about the news. So I was just like, okay, well, I mean, he seems pretty credible. You know, I've seen him, you know, share news, and content creators that I trust with reporting information have also corroborated details. I mean, you know, the arrest warrant was a detail that came from him, and it was corroborated eventually. So I mean, I don't see why he would want to lie now this deep into the case. So I went ahead and made my video. By the time I made my video, there are way more videos online already about the arrest, so I'm feeling good about it, and everyone's celebrating. We all happy. And so I go ahead and upload my video. I want to say about an hour later, I was like, you know, let me see if Miss Salamandra knows about the news. So I go to her page on Instagram, and I see that she has also posted it as well. And I was like, yes, that is that sealed the deal for me. So I was like, great, you know, this guy is really doing a good job investigating and finding details out. You know, everybody's circulating the news. Shanquella's mom knows. It's a great day. It's a great day. All right, boom. So I'm feeling good about the video, and I go back to working on the other video, because now I have to insert a statement that says, hey, based on new information, some of the details may sound a bit crazy, you know. But anyway, so Wednesday I try to finish working on that video. I hop on YouTube, and all of a sudden I start seeing people talking about Gerardo Zuninga, a fraud, MetropoliMX chasing clout. I'm like, what? Wait a minute, what's going on here? And literally it is people, channels, just everybody going in on this guy. And I'm like, hold up, we was just praising this guy for leaking information about the progress in this case. How in the world did everybody just turn on him? Like, what happened? What is going on? Now, I'm the type of person that likes to sit back, and I told y'all this before. I like to sit back, observe, watch, collect my data, and then, you know, I don't like to just be like, oh, I'm first. You know, I like to make sure I see what's going on before I make a sound decision for me. And also another thing I want to bring up real quick, I probably should have said this in the beginning of the video, but anything I say on my video only pertains to me and my channel. I don't speak for other content creators. They have their own voices to speak whatever their truths are or whatever they feel, but this is just for me and my channel. Okay, just want to point that out. And another thing, another quick disclaimer, I've been seeing this on other people's channels, not so much on mine, but I want to just, you know, nip it in the bud now before it even becomes a thing. Do not name drop other channel names in the comment section. If you have some messy things you want to say, don't even bother saying it, because we don't do that over here. We are classy, bougie true crimers. We do not talk trash about other content creators, okay? If you don't agree with what another content creator is saying, then that's fine. You have every right to not agree, but don't start a hate train on another content creator, even if you think it's in support of what I'm saying. Or I don't care. I don't like drama. I don't like it. And even if you think you're defending me or whatever, I don't care. I don't want the drama on my channel, okay? So I just wanted to kind of clarify that real quick. All right, so back to the story. So now I'm just like, wow. So I go to Shanquella's mom's Instagram, and I'm like, well, the post is still there, so I don't know what everybody's talking about, because if there was a discrepancy, I'm sure she would have taken the post down or made an announcement on her IG story, and there wasn't a story announcement, and the post was still there. So I felt good about it. And so I'm just like, well, I'm gonna leave my video and I'm gonna continue working on my stuff, editing my video or whatever. And so I just let the internet go crazy on their own. So while I'm working on my video, I was like, I wonder if Gerardo is seeing all of this. So I went to his MetropoliMX page, and at some point he eventually did release a long statement on there that discusses how it's against protocol for Mexican authorities to release information on an ongoing case, etc., which is why he cannot validate the claim that he made. And I'm just like, okay, well, that explains it, because of course people are saying he's a fraud because we weren't able to find a mugshot, which is true, because I tried to look for it as well. I did try to look for that and I didn't see it, but like I said, he seemed credible because he had been giving us sound information, which eventually was validated by proper channels when necessary. So I didn't see this to be any different than any of the other times, right? So people are like, yeah, we didn't see a mugshot, there wasn't an arrest warrant, or a report rather, blah blah blah, the Interpol hasn't, Interpol agents can't arrest, everything that maybe not everybody knows that, but yeah, Interpol agents cannot arrest someone, and of course if someone is arrested there has to be a report, etc. But y'all have to remember, this is a high profile, this is a high profile case, or it's an international case. Let me say international, because high profile would mean all medias are talking about it, right? Because they're not talking about it, but to us it's high profile. So I'm saying high profile because to me it is high profile. Now they're making all these claims, right? And then you have the other half of the internet talking about, well, it's an extradition process. It's not going to happen at the snap of a finger. There's paperwork involved. And if she appeals, if she has a lawyer and they appeal, that's a process in itself before they can actually start the extradition. Both sides make valid arguments, right? So it's like, you can't really be mad at the people who are giving him the side eye, but you also can't be mad at the people who are trying to clarify why he can't validate anything right now. So it's just a really big gray area. But again, we are forgetting he is an investigative reporter. His job is to find unofficial details and tell us. What we do with the information is up to us. Do we want to share it? Do we want to lay low and just wait for someone else to corroborate? That's on us. And like I said, I felt comfortable sharing it because of said story. Excuse me. So I'm just like, well, I just don't see why he would shoot himself in the foot and basically ruin his credibility and reputation this deep in the case, right? Because I mean, his blog, his MetropoliMX brand is getting a lot of recognition now because of his work that he's doing from us, you know what I'm saying? So why he would sabotage that at this time makes absolutely no sense. So after thinking about it, I'm just like, I don't know, something is telling me that this is true, but unfortunately, because they cannot corroborate anything with him right now, we had time to go look up anything that could support his claim, and when we didn't find anything, we put him up on the chopping block, right? And so now he's under a lot of heat and scrutiny. So I was like, let me text this guy, because I'm like, hey bro, like, what's really going on here? And he's like, she really is arrested, and I'm like, arrested or apprehended? Because that's two different things. And he keeps saying arrest, even though I asked him several times, is it apprehended or arrest? But he's stating arrest. So I'm just like, but she can't be arrested because she's not in Mexico. She can only be arrested in Mexico. And again, it could be a language barrier thing, I don't know. But nonetheless, this whole time everything is going crazy. Everybody is joining the hate train of Mr. Zuniga, and I get it. It's easier to kick someone when they're down than to be one of the few who supports unpopular opinion, right? So, you know, a lot of people are joining the hate train, and I'm just sitting here like, what to do. I go back to Shanquella's mom page, and the statement is still there as of Thursday morning, Thursday early afternoon. And then I contemplate some more. I'm again just sitting quiet, watching the internet fight back and forth with each other. And then at some point I go back to her page again, and the post is gone. And I'm like, oh no. So I guess because no one has officially said anything to her from the investigation, you know, like an officer or reporting officer, I guess it must not have been confirmed, and so that's why she removed her post. I can only assume that's what happened. So now I'm like, okay, well, she took her post down, which means either she knows that Daejhanae is not arrested, or no one has confirmed with her that this girl is actually in custody somewhere. So I'm just like, well, now it's up to you, girl. What you gonna do? You gonna take this video down and tell the people it's a lie, or what? But something, I don't know, it's a gut feeling for me. Like, I don't know if he's done any interviews anywhere yet, other than this statement that he's made on his website, because like I said, I've been sick, so I haven't really been online. But what was I gonna say? Oh my gosh, just lost my train of thought. So I'm just like, all right, well, I in my gut feel like he's telling the truth. It's just unfortunate that the timing, you know, of him releasing this information, it cannot be corroborated because it's still ongoing. It's not like other details that he reported that basically were already scheduled to be announced. There was already gonna be a press release soon after, or within enough time to where we wouldn't have doubts circulating in our minds, right? And so I think that's what the difference is between details that he shared before until he got here. Because now he's probably looking like, well, I'm just doing what, you know, y'all wanted me to do, which is get the information. I don't understand why people are throwing stones now. If I was Mr. Zuniga, I probably would have jumped ship. I would have been like, man, forget this. I do not have time to get roasted by a whole other country when I'm just trying to help, you know. But I guess he's still working on it, because I think I saw him post something else on his page on Twitter or somewhere, and he's still covering the case as far as I know. So I mean, kudos to him for that. But I'm just explaining why I posted the video. You know, whether you believe him or not, that's y'all's prerogative, that's your right. I'm not here to persuade you to believe him. I'm not here to tell you don't believe him. I'm just saying, you know, make your own sound decisions. Y'all are all adults. I've checked my analytics. Y'all are all adults. So, you know, you can make your own decision. Just like I'm able to, you know, research and find details about the case, y'all can as well. So, you know, just take everything you hear with a grain of salt, I would say. Just because at the end of the day, if it's not really officially coming from either U.S. authorities or Mexican authorities, Interpol, or the family, then it's alleged. And that's always been the case. It's always been alleged if it hasn't been from any one of those entities until now. You know, this is the first time we have the information, and it's just information without any validation. But I wouldn't necessarily just throw him to the wolves because the validation hasn't come yet. We'll just, in my opinion, I'm just gonna let him continue doing his job, because the outlets here aren't doing anything. They're not saying anything about Shanquella. The only news outlet that I've seen consistently cover it is the one out of North Carolina, and that's because that's where she's from. Other than that, do y'all see any other news outlets really talking about her case? I don't see any. And you know what else they're not talking about? Those 3 Virginia students that got murdered. Do you see that story circulating anymore? Nope. But you know what they are talking about and have been talking about since day one? The Idaho murders. And let's not forget, if we want to take it back to like the early 2000s, what was the name of that one girl who went missing in Aruba? Natalie Holloway? Yeah. They were talking about her every day for months, maybe even a year, I don't know. But it just seemed like they never let up. But Shanquella, she only gets 2.5 seconds of airtime. And these outlets have a minimum of 3 segments per day, morning, afternoon, and evening. And out of all of those, she probably gets mentioned twice in total. But the Idaho murders, they're counting the days since the crime happened, 19 days. And they probably talk about these Idaho murders in every single segment. You see the pattern here? And I'm not saying that they don't deserve to be talked about, but we also are not being talked about enough. And then we get this man who hears our cries, and he goes, gets the information, brings it back to the people, and we praise him for doing a great job and, you know, giving us that information. Then we send it back. Get us some more information, please. And then he does just that. He goes and gets the information. And then he comes back to us and he reports it, expecting more praise and more congratulations, only for everything to literally Uno reverse out. And I apologize if the video upset any of you guys or gave you false hope. I honestly believe that Mr. Zuniga meant well. It's just unfortunate for the family, for us, for him, that there isn't any evidence at this time to corroborate his findings like it has in previous reports that he's given. Now, I do believe, and again, this is all alleged, is that the FBI does have Daejhanae detained somewhere, and they're just making sure that all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted before they make anything public, because again, this is a high profile case, and if they announce something and then something else happens, then that's just going to create even more of an uproar, especially because this case is not being handled here in the United States. And remember, this is an international case. This is not a domestic crime, a crime that happened in America. So a lot of the process is going to be extremely different, if not all of it. We have these expectations on what's supposed to happen on an international case with domestic case mentality. The laws are very different. In America, you're innocent until proven guilty. Mexico, you're guilty until proven innocent. In America, we have trials. In Mexico, you don't have trials. You stand in front of the judge and plead for your life. Very different circumstances. So we should not have the same expectations with such drastic differences. And this is not to persuade you guys to still support Mr. Zuniga or not. This is just to give you another perspective as to how this could possibly turn out. Like I said, I wholeheartedly believe that they do have her, but they're being extra secretive because they want to make sure nothing slips through the cracks. And that is basically my thought process over the last week, condensed down to about a 30-minute video. So as far as covering Shanquella's case, I will still continue to do so, but it seems like we're kind of at a standstill right now. So I will be covering other cases, documentary style, like I said before, with makeup, etc. And then if I do come across additional information, whether it be from another outlet or Mr. Zuninga, I will make sure to specify specifically where details are coming from Gerardo, so that, you know, you guys have the option to either believe it or sit back on the sidelines and wait until there's further corroborating evidence. So that way it's fair all the way around. So whether you agree or agree to disagree, it's okay either way. We all have the right to have our own point of view. But at the end of the day, I do know one thing is that we all have one goal, which is justice for Shanquella and to see the Cabo 6 pay for what they've done. So that will conclude today's video. Make sure you subscribe, share, like, and I will see you all in the next episode of Evil Strikes. Hopefully I won't sound crazy like I do today. Take care.